But there was an island in the Caribbean that was going nowhere. They wanted to be a luxury tourist attraction because the Caribbean being a beautiful place. They had a major problem. That problem was the name of their island. The name of their island was Hog Island. Now, who wants to go to Hog Island for a vacation? So what did they do? They changed the name of their island to Paradise Island. So people now go to Paradise Island. Now think about it. Someone asks you where you're going. I'm going to Paradise Island for a vacation, or I'm going to go to Hog Island for a vacation. How that happens is that the island's the same. What changes is the positioning of the island. When you say paradise, it has up a whole different thing. And so it's very, very important when you look at what you're doing in your business, how you position it and how you're saying it. For instance, long names don't work. For instance, why is it you'd never say I'm going to go to NY, yet you say I'm going to go to LA? Well, Los Angeles has too many syllables, and New York has New York, and it has two syllables. There's no phonetic advantage to make New York NY, but there is a huge phonetic advantage in LA. So when you start to think, you've got to keep your name down to two syllables or so, because otherwise you get too long, it's going to get abbreviated. When it gets abbreviated, it creates a whole host of problems. Unless it has taken on secondary significance like LA and Los Angeles, it's very difficult. How do you look it up? How do you look it up if you're on the internet? Where am I going to go? So you want to keep it. That's why Walmart used to be Walton and Company, Mercantile, and it went down to what? Walmart. Same thing happened. K, it's K's, it's no longer, you just don't have it's not Kresge. And so you start to understand that you want to make your positioning very, very clear, very, very short, or you change words. Like dynamic value is just too long, and so I've changed it to DYVAL, D-Y-V-A-L, so it doesn't get abbreviated. So you have to start to understand how you position something is going to make a huge difference, and that's how do you position your organization. Make the name very, very, very short, okay? So positioning is super difficult to understand if you don't do this. Right now I'm working with a thing called the C60 molecule. Now C60 molecule, the C60, the first time I was exposed to C60 was through Buckminster Fuller, when we made one in Vermont, a molecule of this. And at that time, it didn't exist, but Bucky said it had to exist because it was the smallest possible spherical structure, and it would have to be carbon because that's the most common thing. And of course, it turned out 3 years after his death that the Nobel Prize was given for the guys who found the C60. And at that time, Fuller said it was going to be the smallest molecule, the strongest, and also be used in medicine. Now that's all great, except that how do you know how to use it? Well, it happens to be hugely important to the future of people. So now let's look at how am I doing this? So how do you position the company? So I've created a new company. It's called Fuller Life. And what I have to do is look at what's the message. I gotta keep it simple. So what I do here is that, what I say here is C60 is more than 100 times more effective than any other free radical. Well, people don't know what free radicals are, but C60 is 100 times more effective. Most people don't understand free radicals, so as a result, I have to come up with a way that people could understand it rather than talking about free radicals. They don't care, they don't understand it. So then what I do is I just change the whole thing to a stable datum. I say what C60 does, it goes in and like a sponge. Sponge is simple. A sponge is goes inside the cell like a sponge and takes out all the bad stuff. Simple. If I go into what it really does and how it works and the positive electrons and negative electrons, people are going to go to sleep. They can remember sponge. They can remember bad stuff. That's how you have to do. You have to keep your message simple, okay? And so basically, C60 simple message is when you're aging or have pain, it's time for C60. So what happens is you'd start to understand the message has to be real, really simple, not complicated. Reduces what? Pain, enhances longevity. That's it. Simple, simple. If I go with all of that stuff, which is very, very true and important, people aren't going to remember. They're going to remember what? Increased life reduces pain. That's it. Anything beyond that is too much. So you got to keep it simple. And so the stable datum I use is sponge, and then it reduces pain, and you live longer. Very simple, okay? Then the next thing on it is you want to have it the largest possible frame. Now, what happens is C60 does reduce pain in every type of pain that's created by free radicals. Now, there are other types of pain through tumors, et cetera, that are not related to this type of pain. Yet we don't talk about those other tumors. We talk about what it does. It reduces pain. Okay? And so the biggest frame is taking in, we don't say, and the exception of this, blah, blah, blah. No, no, no. You just want to stay with that it reduces pain and extends life. It's that simple. And it has unquestionable benefits. In other words, if Fuller Life, which is the name of our company, reduces pain and extends life, okay, you focus on that alone. And it's 100 times more effective than the vitamins, any vitamin, including A, including C, and E. And these are all great vitamins, and they are antioxidants. But something that's at least 100 times more effective, it goes right through the cell. Everything, man, this is a revolutionary piece. And what does it do? It reduces pain and enhances longevity. That's all they have to remember. If they can remember that. And so the highest thing is you want to take the high ground. Take it, don't worry about it. And you start to understand that C60, smaller is better. In other words, size matters. And what our claim is that we have the smallest size single molecule of C60, and smaller is better because it goes through the cell membrane, the lipid cell membrane, into the cell, and with its sponge-like action takes out all the bad stuff, and you live longer pain-free. So it's very important when you create something is how do you position it? Keep it simple, memorable, and don't try to add too much, because if you do it, people aren't going to remember it. Getting above the noise means simple, 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 memorable, memorable, and it has to be something that they have what I call stable datum, which means something they haven't experienced. Most people have experienced pain, and most people know about longevity, and both are things that people will remember. So make sure you position yourself and your organization in the most positive, simplest way. I learned from Bucky a long time ago that the bigger the picture, the more accurate your prediction. There's nothing in a caterpillar, if you just study a caterpillar, will ever tell you about scenario butterfly. So my entire life, I'm working as much as I can to be a comprehensivist. That is interested in everything, so I can make better choices, better decisions, and have a better perspective. What can I do for you?